Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a bit of a fabric haul. In case you missed it, my last video was all about my fall sewing plans, and I will be sure to link that video below. And today's video is sort of a part 2, where I'm going to show you all of my new in fabrics for my upcoming fall and winter sewing projects. So if you haven't seen that one, it would give you a bit more context about the projects that I'm going to be making in a little bit more detail. And today I'm just going to focus on the fabrics. These are all from Fashion Fabrics Club, not sponsored or anything. It's just a website that I really enjoy shopping from. They offer a lot of dead stock fabrics, and so I find that going on their website every so often, there are typically different fabrics available to choose from. And so it's kind of fun to go on there and see what you're going to find. And I happen to find some really great deals this time. I think that overall their costs are pretty affordable. And for things that are typically more expensive, such as like a wool coating fabric or denim, I've found some really great raw denim on their website before. I think it's just a really good spot to check occasionally if you have some pricier projects in mind, because I've been able to find really high quality fabrics at a lower price point than a lot of other fabric shops. So definitely worth checking out their website. I will try to link in the description box the specific fabrics that I have today, and if they're currently not available, something similar, just to kind of give you a reference point. If you are new here, hello, I'm Rebecca. I love talking about sewing, knitting, slow fashion, so if those are things that are of interest to you as well, I would love it if you hit subscribe and joined me for future videos. So let's go ahead and get into all of my new fabrics. So if you did see my last video where I shared my fall sewing plans, you'll know that I want to try duping a designer pair of pants. These are the Ozma pants that I mentioned in the last video, and I wanted to do kind of like an Ivory Twill. The Ozma pants, I believe, are a tensile denim blend, and I wanted to make mine out of a twill, and so I found this, what is it called? Let me check. Natural Ivory Organic Cotton Twill Woven Fabric. It was $8 for a yard, and I got 2 yards, so not too bad. So I got 2 yards of that, and I will be sure to do some like cutaways, close-ups, so you can see the texture more. But this is the fabric. I have pre-washed it, and I have not ironed it, so it's a little bit crinkly, but it has a really nice twill weave to it. I love the color. It's opaque, which is really important for pants, and sometimes it's hard to find opaque ivory or white fabrics. But yeah, the weight is really nice, and I think it's going to give a nice structured shape to the pants, but also be flexible enough to be really comfortable. So that's the first fabric and the first sewing plan. I do need to kind of do a bit of pattern tweaking to alter a pants pattern that I currently have to mimic the silhouette and shape and length of the Ozma pants, but I think it will be a very doable process, and I'll probably share it with you guys if that's something you're interested in watching. So that's the first fabric. The next fabric that I purchased is also a twill, but this one has a small percentage of spandex in it. I think it was 1 or 2%, and I just really loved the color. It's I think they called it brown, which is interesting. Yeah, they call it a brown solid cotton spandex stretch twill woven fabric. It was $7.92 per yard or meter. I have to check that. And so $15.84 for 2. And to my eye, I think that this color looks like olivey green. And I'm not sure how my phone will pick up the color. The listing does say that it is brown, and I'm wearing a green shirt, so I'm curious to see when I see the video through the phone if it looks green. I feel like it's going to look green. The listing said brown. Anyway, it's one of those kind of khaki, olivey green, brown tones. And I also plan to make pants with this. If the first pair goes really well and I'm pleased with the result, I might make that again in this color. It's a silhouette that I really like. And if for whatever reason that first pair doesn't turn out the way that I want it to, I may just use a different pants pattern that I already have that I know works well for me. Maybe the By Hand London Jackie trouser or the Emily Lightly Frey pants. I think this would work with those too. So we'll see how the first pair goes with kind of altering a pattern. And if it is successful, I might make another version. I think that a twill fabric for pants is really great for the fall, for kind of like transitional weather where it's not super hot or cold yet. So those are 2 twill fabrics, and there's actually one more. So the description of this fabric is classic black solid twill woven fabric, also $8. And I got this fabric specifically to make my partner some pants for work. It does feel, this twill feels a lot more like a dress pant fabric than the others. I would say that the others feel more rigid, and this one feels like it has a bit more drape to it. Also, I will have to double check the composition of the fabric, but based upon the drape and the feel, this one feels like maybe there's a little bit of another material in it. It could be all cotton, but like I said, it does have a little bit of drape and shimmer to it. So I'm making some just like basic black dress pants using the Modern Sewing Company worker trousers, which is a men's pattern. And to make it more of a dress pant, I'm leaving off a lot of the top stitching, and I'm leaving off the patch pockets on the back. And this is just a silhouette and a pant pattern that I've already gotten the fit really well on him. And so I figured it would be a good base to use for some pants that he can wear to work. And yeah, I'm almost done. I have to attach the waistband and the belt loops and hem them, but it's a really solid men's pants pattern if that's something that you're ever looking for. So I got enough to make a couple pairs of pants for him. Actually, I think I did 4 or 5 yards. So I plan to make 2, maybe 3. I might be able to get 3 pairs out. So those 3 twill fabrics I got with the intention to make pants, and the rest of the fabrics are going to be for shirts and jackets. So I guess I'll start with the shirt fabrics. I found this really affordable cotton shirting on Fashion Fabrics, and they had a big variety of colors. It was $3.92, and I ended up getting 2 different colors. I got a soft blue and a cobalt blue, and these are a cotton pique, I believe is how it's pronounced, Pique, which I haven't worked with before, but it was really, really affordable for a cotton shirting fabric. And so I got, like I said, the 2 different colors to give it a try. And I have not pre-washed these yet, but they feel really great. So let me go ahead and show you those. And like I said, I will be sure to insert some close-ups so you can see the texture of the fabric a little bit better. But the first one, that is the soft blue colorway, it has this really lovely texture to it. I'm not sure if it's going to show up on the camera, but this is a really, really beautiful blue. It's almost like that cornflower blue, really pale, really pretty. And I love the texture, and it's so soft. Again, I haven't pre-washed it yet, but I think it's going to make a really lovely shirt. So I think I did 1.5 of this color and then 2 of this one. I was kind of thinking short sleeve button up for this and maybe long sleeve button up for this, but we'll see how much I can get out of each of these fabrics. So this is the cobalt blue colorway. This one kind of has a sheen to it a little bit. But yeah, it's this really interesting texture. Again, I've never worked with this sort of fabric before, but at less than $4, a yard. I mean, it's really, really nice shirting fabric. So if you're in the market for that, it might be worth checking out. And again, I just really like the color and the texture. I do have blue shirts, but I don't have anything that has like an interesting texture to it, visual texture, as well as, you know, it has a slight physical texture, but I mean, visible more than, does that make sense? So yeah, I'm really excited about these two fabrics to make a couple of shirts with. The next fabric that I got that is also a shirting fabric is called White Deep Navy Stripe Cotton Linen Shirting Woven Fabric. And this one was $10 a yard, and I believe I got 1.5. But it's really beautiful. It almost has like a faded, it does say that it's navy and white stripe, but the navy is kind of textured. Hopefully you can see that. And it's just this really lovely cotton linen blend. I think will be perfect for a shirt. I like that the stripes kind of vary and that you get sort of a closer stripe here and then it's a little bit more spaced out. Hopefully you can see that. But it's really soft. The drape is really beautiful. And I don't really have, I think I have one striped shirt and it's a really thin, almost like a pinstripe. It's really, really thin. So I like the idea of having a little bit bolder of a stripe for a shirt option. And yeah, I love a cotton linen blend. So I think that both the blue shirts that I plan to make with those cotton pick fabrics and this cotton linen blend will make for really lovely shirts that will go with the first two twill fabrics I shared with you, the ivory and that kind of brown green color. Yeah, so I think they're all going to work really nicely together, which is always important when I'm choosing fabrics. I try to be mindful of, is this going to go with the other makes that I plan to make, as well as what's already in my wardrobe. And I do have a lot of earth tones and neutrals, and so they tend to play pretty well together. But I was really excited about this one. It was a newer addition to the website when I was browsing, so my guess is that it's still on there. I'll try to link it below, if so. So I was just quickly unfolding this striped cotton linen fabric, and I noticed that the edge that is cut, that is normally straight, is like really, it looks like someone cut a garment out of it, like a sleeve or something. There's a really big cut into the bottom of the fabric. It's just so wild to me. I've never seen that before, but this is the bottom edge of the fabric. Can you see that? Is like, it's really wild. It's really uneven. It does look like someone cut a shirt out of it. Like if it's a dead stock fabric, that would make sense that the sleeve caps are kind of cut out. And so initially I was like, oh no, that's not great. But then I laid out the fabric on the floor so that I could see the entirety of it. And there's like over 3 yards of fabric here. So I ordered 1.5, I believe. Yeah, I ordered 1.5. Maybe they just gave me what they had left of this cut. I have encountered before, you know, if there's only like a half of a yard left after they cut your fabric, that they just kind of throw it in. This is like twice what I ordered. So maybe I'll make a shirt and pants or a skirt or something. That's really cool. So there you go. Dead stock fabric. So another sewing plan for fall that I shared in my last video was that I wanted to improve my tailoring techniques, and I want to make a wool coat and a wool blazer. And so in this fabric order, I did find some really affordable wool jacketing fabric. It's called Shadow Black Wool Blend Twill Jacketing Fabric, and this was only $8 a yard. So I got 3 yards of it, and let me show you. It's really heavy. I don't know if they put the weights like the GSM, they might have that. And if so, I can find it and put it on the screen for you. But it feels like a heavy wool blanket. This is going to be such a nice jacket slash blazer, whatever I end up choosing. I think I'm going to attempt to make an oversized blazer and wear it as a jacket. That's kind of my plan at the moment. And I don't know if you can see, but it does have that twill weave. The texture is quite visible in it, which I really like. And it's really warm, of course. It's wool. There is a small percentage that is not. I think maybe it was a nylon woven in with it, but it was majority wool. And I think it's just going to be such a classic, long-lasting piece in my wardrobe. I love the fabric. I love the color, that it's not like a really intense inky black, but it has a little bit of like a charcoaly black sort of look to it. And yeah, I plan to take my time with this one. I don't yet have a lining fabric for it. There are quite a few lining fabrics available on the Fashion Fabrics Club website. A lot of them are just like really inexpensive, 100% polyester, kind of that shiny lining material that you see very often. And I don't really want to line a wool jacket with a polyester lining if I can avoid it. I have done that before, but I think I might even prefer to just use cotton. I think that polyester really can be quite like uncomfortable, and you don't always want all of the heat to be held in, you know, cotton's a little bit more breathable. So I might try to just get some black cotton or a different lining material for this jacket, but I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to look really professional, and I am excited to work with wool fabrics in general. I don't have a lot of experience with it. I think my machine can handle it. It's made a lot of jeans, so hopefully it'll be okay. And then I actually didn't order this fabric with this order, but it's a fabric that I mentioned in my last video. So about a year ago, I purchased a pattern for a wool coat, like a long, oversized, it's actually a men's pattern from Vicky Sews. And at the time, I also purchased a wool fabric to make it with. And I didn't show that in the last video, so I wanted to just pull it out and show it here. It's a navy blue wool, and it has like a really nice texture to it. This one definitely feels thinner than the black fabric that I just shared with you. I almost wish that I could switch the fabrics for the patterns, because I think a thinner fabric would make more sense for like a blazer, and then that wool is really, really thick. The black that I just showed you would make more sense for a big, heavy coat. I don't know if I have enough to do that though, so I may end up with a heavier blazer and a little bit of a lighter coat, but that's okay. It's all still wool fabric. It's going to be very warm. If that's the case, that's probably what will happen. Or I suppose I could hit pause on that men's coat for a heavier fabric if I decide that this one isn't thick enough. I don't know if I can show you how thick it is very clearly. I can try to show you up close, but also a wool blend. I remember that I think it was 85-15 with like a wool nylon. It almost feels like more of a pant or a shirt weight or thickness. We do have enough here to make a long wool coat, and I do think that it would work. It's just that when I got the other wool fabric that felt so much heavier, I thought, oh, you know, this would make a really good coat. So we'll see. We'll have a play around with pattern and fabric pairings. So that's everything that I've purchased from Fashion Fabrics Club. I think my total was around $100, maybe a little bit over. And if you spend over $80, you get free shipping, which saves quite a bit, especially when you're ordering heavy fabrics. It's nice to pass that shipping barrier line so that it's free. I think I saved $30 or $40 by doing that. So I'm really excited. I plan to take my time with all of it, particularly with the blazer and the jacket. I really want to do a good job and do all of the hand stitching that's required with tailored objects. And I think the Ozma pant dupe is going to be really fun. That one might kind of bump up to the top of the list of what I might dive into next. And the black pants that I'm making for my partner, like I said, I'm going to try to make 2 or 3 of those with the fabric that I have. And after I've made those, I may dive into the Ozma dupe process. So I'm really excited. I love making shirts. I want to get better at making coats and blazers. I have done it before, and I am a bit of a perfectionist. I try not to take myself too seriously, but I want to do a good job. And I know that in the tailored pieces that I've made before, the parts that are less than perfect really stand out to me. And I know I can do better the second, third time around. So I'm excited to dive into fall sewing. It's always so much fun to get a pile of new fabrics. I don't do it very often, and so when I do, I feel like I'm setting myself up for months of joy. I mean, sewing is such a pleasure to do, and to carve out a little bit of time in the middle of your busy life to make something by hand is really, really valuable to me for my creative mind, for my mental health, for like stress reduction. So getting a pile of fabric feels like a really wonderful thing, pleasure and a privilege. And I'm really excited to share with you guys what I make going forward. So hopefully this video was interesting. I would love to know in the comments below what your next fall sewing project is. I know that I'm really ready for a little bit cooler temperatures. It's been really hot. Yeah, I hope you're all doing really well, and I will see you in the next one really soon. Bye.